Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some key online dating tips for fearful, avoidant attachment style individuals. So this is a huge topic. This is something that comes up a lot. I know the online dating world is very interesting. I've heard many client stories over the years and seen the inside of so many people's lives and, some of the really beautiful stories that can take place and really wonderful things that can happen. And then some of the chaos and the crazy stuff. And, it's really an interesting, situation. So I wanted to take some time to put some tips and tools out here for different attachment styles. Please know that we literally, as part of our community feature inside PDS, have community events that are literally just about online dating. We go through them on a weekly basis. They're like online dating routines, tips, tools. People share discussions, stories, things they know that are working. And I worked closely to help develop a system of tips and tools in much more depth so that can sort of be facilitated and brought out there. So you can check that out. And another course that you can check out for free by clicking the link in the description box below is our advanced fearful avoidant attachment style course that will literally take you through everything you need to know about the dating stage as a fearful avoidant, pitfalls, pain points, things to reprogram, and give you a lot of results oriented tools to help you get to the other side. So you can use those resources, check them out. And let's talk about the video. So first and foremost, one of the most important things you can do as a fearful avoidant is set conscious intentions about how you want your experience to go. The reason this is really valuable to do ahead of time is that when you set conscious intentions, you are less likely to fall into the flip-flopping. And one of the things that's so hard for fearful avoidants is they don't like feeling hurt or rejected. And they tend to cope with hurt or rejection by shutting off. And what I often find can happen for fearful avoidance is instead of like being vulnerable or communicating a need or realizing that sometimes the early stage of dating can just be difficult and there are obstacles and things to overcome. Sometimes fearful avoidance can see one sign of trouble and be like, that's it. I have to pull away from this person completely. I have to shut them out. And it's a subconscious strategy to keep yourself safe from pain and from hurt. But at the end of the day, sometimes there can be an element of self-sabotage in there where instead of like going to someone and communicating through a problem and letting someone know that their actions aren't okay, or, hey, you have a boundary there, or, hey, this is really important to me that this doesn't happen again. Instead of communicating vulnerably about your own needs, there will just be this like, I saw one thing and I didn't like it and I ran away. I self-sabotage, I push people away. And then there can be this like buildup of perceiving that, you keep meeting bad people or people who don't show up, where there may be people who aren't compatible and there may be people who are doing sketchy things on the online dating space that aren't good. But sometimes the ones that you do like, and I've seen this so many times with fearful avoidant clients over the years, sometimes the ones you do like, because there's this like intense fear and distrust that happens at the first sign of trouble, it can almost be like the ones that you're really interested in. The moment there's any problem, it's like instead of communicating and going toward the problem with approach-oriented behavior and saying, hey, I didn't like this, or opening up, that shutdown can kind of become a little bit self-sabotaging over time. So by setting conscious intentions ahead of time, what you do is you decide what you're going to put up with and not put up with. And if there's something in the gray area, like, hey, I didn't like this thing that happened, but it wasn't, a conscious expectation or need that I have, or a standard that I set, then it's probably a time where you can communicate. So let me just give you an example. Let's say your standards in online dating are like people are respectful, they put an effort in, they want to meet up, they're emotionally available, they have healthy patterns of behavior and communication, they express interest. Like there may be a bunch of standards you have. And those may be really important things to you. And obviously if somebody starts being disrespectful, like they're probably not going to be really worth your time. But let's say instead somebody doesn't text back one day when you hoped that they would, or text back within a time period you wanted or thought was, felt safe from that person and comfortable. Sometimes the mind will assume like, oh, abandonment, or, oh, there was someone else, or, can kind of jump to the worst case scenarios. And instead of taking that information and going, hey, I know we didn't get a chance to chat as much yesterday. Consistency of communication is really valuable to me. It really matters to me. Instead of communicating about your needs and letting yourself be seen and like show up and have needs and express those needs and see them through, it's like, oh, I didn't like that. I'm shutting down and I'm pushing the person away. And it can set the tone early on in relationships where, instead of it being like, I have really good standards for myself that are really healthy and I support those, but I'm also understanding that there are problems in relationships sometimes, or miscommunications, or we have different needs, and we may not mind read about each other's or understand each other's needs and expectations, and we have to talk about them. Instead, it can just be, I have standards, and even if it's not something that violated my standards and things that are important to me, if there's just anything I didn't like at all, I shut down and I hide to keep myself safe. And again, it becomes self-defeating, because then you put yourself out there only to keep sort of building this perception that people will disappoint you. So it's really important to get clear, to get conscious ahead of time. And that brings me to point number 2, which is to talk about your needs when you've understood what your expectations are or standards are in a healthy manner, and then to actually be vulnerable and communicate and open up. And I don't mean you have to like share your whole life experience right away and say everything, but say when you have a need that's unmet, talk about it. When you saw something that wasn't good for you, that you didn't enjoy about the experience, don't be afraid to like express it in a positive form. Don't be afraid to say, hey, XYZ is important to me. XYZ means a lot to me. I really want us to do that. Or, I'd like to see more of that in our interaction. Or even just saying, this is important to me in general, and someone will understand and want to make the effort, or they won't. And then you're not self-sabotaging anything. You are clearly getting answers you need when you're vetting somebody in the dating stage to help you determine if they're a good match or not. And then you're actually properly and effectively weeding through people to find the right fit for you, as opposed to potentially pushing away people who may be a good fit for you from a space of fear instead of a space of truth. So it's a really, really important, like, 2 tips there for fearful avoidance. And another thing that'll just be really important is to take the time to vet your needs. So tip number 3 is take the time to vet your needs. What are they? Get conscious and intentional about them ahead of time, so you know what you want from the experience of dating. Because sometimes we get the fearful avoidant flip-flopping back and forth, and that can be solved ahead of time by just being clear about what you actually want from dating, what you want at this stage in your life in general. Some people are on a journey to sort of find themselves and figure themselves out and just want to date to date casually. Other people want to date to find a committed monogamous relationship. So define ahead of time so that you don't go in on autopilot and get sort of pulled around in all these different directions, and then already you feel that sense of sort of flip-flopping back and forth. Take the time to be intentional about how you're going to spend your precious time and energy, what you want to get out of it, and then allow yourself to advocate for yourself and show up for those things that you desire. So those are some major tips. We go into so much more, but you can check that all out. If you want to do a deeper dive as well into discovering your needs more, you can check out for free also in our membership in the 7-day free trial, our Discover, Embrace, and Fulfill Your Personal Needs course, which can be very valuable. So hopefully that all makes sense. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.